Chris, you had a lot of animosity toward Vitor Belfort for his positive test when you had that fight. Do you have that same animosity with Yoel Romero, or do you feel like he was absolved and that's that?
I don't like anybody who's cheated in the sport. I just think it's wrong, and I feel like there should be stronger penalties for when you fail. But Vitor was different because Vitor failed, I think, 2 tests by that time, and the test scores were coming out at the time. Like his testosterone was still like crazy high. Meanwhile, he was on TRT forever because he couldn't survive without testosterone. So I knew he was still doing something, and so that's why I really took it another level.
What did you learn from your first loss in your career, and how difficult was it? You've had a lot of setbacks, but how difficult was this one in particular, not being able to get back in right away, having to deal with the injury after the fact?
It was definitely tough. But I definitely learned a lot. A big part of it was kind of overtraining and trying not to get injured. So I definitely tuned down my training. And I used to do like 3 workouts a day hard, 2 to 3 workouts a day hard, and now I'm doing 1 or 2, and one of them is hard. So it's changed a lot. I feel way fresher and better.
Were you able to work on new tools, or did you have to go straight from rehab into this fight camp in your time off?
Oh no, yeah, no. I've been training a lot, So I was actually 2 weeks after my neck surgery. I was pretty much doing anything I wanted. I was cleared by the doctor to like spar and wrestle and jiu-jitsu 6 weeks after surgery. I had surgery early June, so I've had a lot of time, a lot of training. And
what's your best memory of Madison Square Garden?
Coming here for the circus with my Uncle Jimmy. He lives in New York City. My brother, my sister, coming here for that was probably the best growing up. And then other than that, I used to come all the time when I was young, like in junior high. I lived right next to the train tracks on Long Island, so I used to just jump on the train with friends and head into the city, just hang out, and you'd be walking back and forth. And Madison Square Garden was definitely something that was special that you'd walk by.
Will you get the loudest ovation at Madison Square Garden for UFC 205, and what do you want out of your performance returning to the octagon?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. That'd be cool. I haven't had, fighting in Las Vegas and usually fighting all these top veterans. I usually got a lot of boos. So it's going to be nice to have any ovation at all. And to be back here for, it's like just a dream come true. And I definitely expect some love, so I'm excited about it.
How have you assessed just the chaos in the middleweight division this year while you've been kind of watching here as Michael Bisping becomes the champion, Dan Henderson getting a title fight? I mean, how much emphasis are you putting on this fight that this gets you back into that title picture with a victory?
Oh, yeah, I think this is everything. I think I get a W here. I'm fighting for the title. So, and then get the belt from Bisping and move on.
Are you feeling that pressure that with the venue of Madison Square Garden, coming off the surgery, you want to be back in the title picture? I mean, how do you still keep this just the focus on Yoel and not let all of these factors, because it's a lot riding on you in this fight?
Yeah, I think I just put a lot of pressure on myself always for all my fights to just go out there and dominate and separate myself from these other guys. So the other elements, fighting Madison Square Garden and, it being a title fight, possible title fight, title contender fight. I've fought for the last 4.5 years for titles. So I guess I'm used to that. And my big thing is just going out there and beating Yoel and separating myself from him. And I know the rest will take care of itself.
And mentally, was there ever a point that you thought that this card was just not going to happen for you? It was, from all indications, an 11th hour deal that came together to get you onto this card. Did you ever think that this was just not going to be in the cards for you, the first MSG show?
Yeah, for a while I wasn't sure. I definitely wasn't sure what was going to happen, and it was definitely a weird situation when years you put in to get this thing legalized here, and I have never been able to fight here, and the one event finally coming back, I wasn't going to be a part of. It was definitely hard for me to take in, but at the end of the day, you wake up the next day and the sun rises. I got that from Barack Obama this morning, with Donald Trump.
Well, what's the mood like in New York? As someone from Canada just watching this as an observer, what's the mood like the day after?
Day after what?
The election.
Oh, man, we're going into politics. Well, last night I was watching the whole thing go down, and I wasn't able to stay up to hear the final vote and see that it was like that Trump won, but when it started looking like Trump was winning, I started hearing like ambulances outside. I started thinking just terrible thoughts, this country's gonna just go crazy right now. But at the end of the day, I think this is an opportunity for the country to come together and not separate. So all the people that were really voting for Hillary really need to realize that, listen, it's the reality is that Donald Trump is the president now, and you have to support him, and don't resist it, because it's going to separate the country. If you want to change, or if you didn't, the most important thing is that we're all Americans, and that us being a split country is not going to be benefiting anybody. So it's time to take in the loss and give Donald Trump the opportunity to become the best president he can be.
Sound like a future politician, maybe, Chris.
Hey, I might be the next president. We'll see. Who would have thought?